On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Typical.
Having the usual characteristics or traits of a specific group of things.
Examples:
Typical leader. Fairly typical symptoms. This artwork is typical of her work.
Consume.
To spend something, especially fuel, energy, or time, in a large amount.
Examples:
Consume a large of alcohol. Consume electricity. A smaller car will consume less fuel.
Involve.
To include or affect someone or something as a necessary part of something else.
Examples:
Involve a lot of paperwork. Involve a high degree of risk. The investigation involves several government agencies and is expected to take several months.
Curiosity.
A strong desire to know or learn about something.
Examples:
Boundless curiosity. Satisfy my intellectual curiosity. We are motivated by curiosity rather than necessity.
Insignificant.
Of little importance, influence, or power.
Examples:
Insignificant amount. An insignificant mistake. He made me feel small and insignificant.
Indulgence.
The state or act of allowing oneself or another person to enjoy the pleasure of something that is considered to be a pleasure or luxury.
Examples:
Plenary indulgence. Selfish indulgence. He allowed himself a few small indulgences during his diet.
Reproductive.
Connected with the process of reproduction, relating to reproducing babies, young animals, or plants.
Examples:
Reproductive ability. During reproductive period. This documentary deals with the reproductive biology of the buffalo.
Genealogy.
The study of family history and the tracing of lineages.
Examples:
Genealogy research. Genealogy chart. She spent hours tracing her family tree and discovering new information about her genealogy.
Obsess.
To fill the mind of someone continually so that one can't think of anything else.
Examples:
Obsess over her weight. He is obsessed with the fear. He's utterly obsessed with his promotion.
Thanksgiving.
An annual holiday celebrated primarily in the United States and Canada, typically observed on the fourth Thursday in November in the U.S. and on the second Monday in October in Canada, that commemorates the giving of thanks for the blessings of the previous year.
Examples:
Thanksgiving traditions. Thanksgiving parade. My family gathers together every year for Thanksgiving dinner.
Peculiar.
Odd and uncommon, sometimes in an unpleasant way.
Examples:
Peculiar way. Peculiar people. The juice has a peculiar taste.
Ancient.
Relating to the long ago, particularly the historical period preceding the fall of the Western Roman Empire, very old.
Examples:
Pre-Christian ancient. Ancient stories. They have been living near water since ancient times.
Relative.
Considered and evaluated through comparison with something else.
Examples:
A remote relative. Relative factors. Most countries prohibit sexual activity between certain close relatives.
Immense.
Extremely large or great.
Examples:
Immense amount. Immense pressure. He left his wife an immense fortune.
Biomedical.
Relating to the application of the natural sciences, especially biology and physiology, to clinical medicine and healthcare.
Examples:
Biomedical assay. Cutting-edge biomedical. Biomedical engineering focuses on developing new medical technologies and innovations to improve patient health outcomes.
Fellow.
Someone who has the same job or interests as you, or is in the same class, profession, or situation as you.
Examples:
Junior fellow. Nice fellow. He is the kind of fellow who only works for his success.
Genealogist.
A person who studies, researches, or traces family histories or ancestry. Someone who specializes in genealogy equals the study of families, family history, and the tracing of their lineages.
Examples:
Genealogist community. Professional genealogist. The genealogist's research showed that the family had ties to royalty in their ancestry.
Upload.
To transfer digital data or files from a local computer or device to a remote server or network, the act of transferring such data or files.
Examples:
Upload files. Upload documents to the portal. I need to upload these pictures to my computer to edit them.
Scan.
To examine something hastily, with the eyes or with a machine, to get information.
Examples:
Scan the face of a man. Scan a document into PDF. She stood on the podium and scanned an audience.
Merge.
To combine or integrate things, or to cause this to happen.
Examples:
Merge into a new party. Merge those systems into a new one. This consulting firm decided to merge the two companies into one.
Individual.
A single person or thing, as distinct from a group.
Examples:
A private individual. Individual freedom. As an individual, he had the right to make his own decisions and live his life as he saw fit.
Process.
A series of actions or operations performed to achieve a particular outcome or goal. A systematic procedure or approach used to accomplish a specific task or objective. A method of treating milk to make it suitable for consumption or use in other dairy products.
Examples:
Process improvement. Decision-making process. The process for applying for a visa can be lengthy and complicated.
Crowdsourcing.
The practice of obtaining needed services, ideas, or content by enlisting the services of a large number of people, either paid or unpaid, typically via the Internet.
Examples:
Crowdsourcing apps. Crowdsourcing in climate policy. The company used this crowdsourcing platform to gather ideas for its next product.
Construct.
To build or create something, to assemble or combine different parts to form something whole.
Examples:
Construct a 3D image. Construct a dam. He constructs hypotheses that no mathematician has ever imagined before.
Humankind.
The whole of the living human inhabitants of the earth.
Examples:
Humankind as a species. History of humankind. On the geological timescale, humankind has existed for a brief moment.
Pixel.
The smallest unit of an image that can be displayed or manipulated electronically, typically a point of light on a computer screen or in a digital image.
Examples:
Pixel density. Color pixels. The computer screen comprises thousands of tiny pixels that create the overall picture.
Subset.
A set of things that are contained within another larger set, a portion or division of a group or category.
Examples:
Proper subset. Subset selection. A subset of the employees will be trained in the new software program.
Nod.
To lower and raise one's head, sometimes several times, as to show approval, agreement, greeting, or confirmation.
Examples:
Nod at each other. Nod courteously. She nodded quietly in response to the question.
Represent.
To speak, act, or be present on behalf of another person or group, to form or constitute.
Examples:
Represent by a diagram. The characters that represent numbers. We elected him to represent us at the international conference.
Par.
A state of being equal to someone or something.
Examples:
Above par performance. Not up to par. Shares in the company finally fell below their par value.
Ancestor.
A person from whom one is descended, a forefather.
Examples:
Ancestor language. Earliest human ancestor. My remote ancestor immigrated to the United States from Ireland in the 1800s.
Periphery.
The outer edge or margin of something, especially a geographical area or a group of people.
Examples:
Around the periphery. Periphery countries. The factory was located on the city's periphery, away from residential areas.
Descendant.
Children or offspring of a specific person, plant, or animal.
Examples:
Descendant of a pioneer. Third generation descendant. Those warriors' descendants are still skilled archers.
Approximately.
Close to a specific number or time, but not exactly that number or time.
Examples:
Approximately 3 feet long. Approximately same. This trail takes approximately 2.5 hours.
Gigantic.
Extremely large.
Examples:
Gigantic proportions. Gigantic monsters. He was so hungry from the long journey that he had a gigantic appetite.
Distant.
Far away in space, time, or where you are, far apart in relevance, relationship, or kinship.
Examples:
A distant memory. Distant ancestors. The sun set over the crest of distant hills.
Secretary.
A person whose job is to deal with correspondence, keep records, and do administrative work for a company or organization.
Examples:
A confidential secretary. Secretary General. The chief secretary was responsible for organizing the meeting.
Treasury.
The government department in charge of managing public funds, the funds of a government or institution or individual.
Examples:
Treasury bonds. Treasury money. The protracted war nearly depleted the country's treasury.
Showbiz.
The business or industry of entertainment, especially movies, television, and popular music, the glamorous or flashy aspects of the entertainment industry.
Examples:
Showbiz industry. Showbiz gossip. The singer's career in showbiz began with a small role in a television series.
Industrious.
Hardworking, diligent, and persistent in effort.
Examples:
Industrious worker. Industrious student. He was known to be very industrious and would often work late into the night.
Bacon.
A type of salt-cured pork that is usually sliced and fried, a meat product that is derived from the back or sides of a pig.
Examples:
Bacon and eggs. Bacon sandwich. I love the smell of bacon sizzling in the morning.
Degree.
A unit of measurement for angles, temperature, or level of proficiency or achievement, a rank or level of academic or professional attainment.
Examples:
Bachelor's degree. Degree centigrade. She received her degree in psychology from the university.
Invest.
To put money, effort, time, etc. into something to make a profit or achieve a result.
Examples:
Invest in stocks. Invest capital. The government should view children as national assets and actively invest in them.
Validate.
To check or prove that something is true, to make something officially or legally acceptable or approved.
Examples:
Validate a hypothesis. Validate a passport. To validate your purchase, please visit the following link.
Adoption.
The action or fact of legally taking another's child as one's own, the act of accepting with approval.
Examples:
Adoption assistance. The adoption of a plan. The adoption process can be long and difficult, but it is worth it for the love of a child.
Smirk.
To smile in a way that suggests one is pleased or amused by someone or something, often in a smug or self-satisfied manner.
Examples:
Smirk confidently. Smirk after playing a prank. He couldn't help but smirk when he heard her absurd excuse.
Patrilineal.
The antonym of matrilineal, relating to or based on a father's lineage or descent, inherited or passed down through the male line.
Examples:
Patrilineal society. Patrilineal inheritance. The patrilineal tradition has been passed down for generations, and there is great pride in maintaining the family's heritage.
Clinical.
Of or relating to the examination and treatment of patients rather than theoretical or laboratory studies.
Examples:
Clinical surgery. Participate in clinical trials. She received special clinical training at the hospital.
Grade.
A particular level of quality, size, importance, etc.
Examples:
Boys in the 12th grade. students at all grade levels. Departments may set requirements for a higher grade point average.
Pedigree.
The recorded ancestry or genealogical background of a person or animal, a list of ancestors, especially of purebred animals, that documents the genetic lineage of a particular animal or line of animals.
Examples:
Family pedigree, pedigree chart. The dog's pedigree proved that it came from a long line of champion show dogs.
Profound.
Extremely great, sensed or experienced very strongly, displaying a high level of knowledge or comprehension.
Examples:
A profound book. The profound depths of the sea. My mother's illness had a profound impact on us all.
Vested.
Having a legal right to something, especially property or money, that cannot be taken away.
Examples:
A vested right. The authority vested in an office. The union has a vested interest in the outcome of the negotiations.
Lever.
A handle used to operate a vehicle or a machine, a rigid bar resting on a pivot so that one end of it can be pushed or pulled easily.
Examples:
A gear change lever. Lever for reform. This initiative will be a lever for increasing company sales.
Quantitative.
Relating to, measuring, or expressing in terms of quantity, involving numerical or statistical data.
Examples:
Quantitative tightening. Quantitative analysis. The quantitative research provided statistical evidence to support the hypothesis.
Demography.
The study of the statistics of human populations, such as size, growth, density, distribution, and vital statistics.
Examples:
Demography study. The city's demography report. The demography of the country is changing rapidly due to migration and the aging population.
Contour.
The outline of its shape or form, a line drawn on a map connecting points of equal height.
Examples:
The contour of the Earth's surface. Contour lines. The contour of the Atlantic coast of America is very complicated.
Clip.
A small metal or plastic device used for holding an object or objects together or in place, a short part of electronic media, either an audio clip or video clip.
Examples:
Tie clip. Short video clip. He fastened some sheets of paper with a clip.
Stratify.
To arrange or divide into layers or strata based on characteristics such as social, economic, or cultural status.
Examples:
Stratify populations. Stratify data. Society tends to stratify people into different economic classes.
Migration.
The movement of animals to a new location, frequently as the seasons change.
Examples:
The migration of birds. Overseas migration. There was a migration of impoverished farmers into the towns.
Colon.
The punctuation mark, used to introduce a list, summary, explanation, etc., or before reporting what someone has said, a significant part of the large intestine, the final section of the digestive system.
Examples:
Colon examination. The colon at the end of the sentence. Consumption of vegetables may aid in the prevention of colon cancer.
Settle.
To reach an agreement of disagreement.
Examples:
Settle a dispute. Settle down in the town. I don't want to settle for second best.
Transport.
A system for moving people or products from one location to another using automobiles, roads, and so on.
Examples:
Transport facilities. Access to public transport. Enhanced rail transportation is crucial for our business.
Migrant.
A traveler who moves from one region or country to another, especially to find work or better living conditions, a bird or an animal that moves from one place to another.
Examples:
Migrant worker. The movement of migrant birds. The government revoked his license to employ migrant labor crews.
Trail.
A path or track roughly through a countryside, mountain, or forest area, often made or used for a particular purpose. Verb, to lag or linger behind.
Examples:
A warm trail. Follow the trail. The storm left a trail of destruction behind it.
Context.
The circumstances, facts, or conditions that surround a particular event, situation, or statement and that give it meaning.
Examples:
Historical context. Legal context. It's important to understand the context of a situation before making a decision.
Distance.
The amount of space between 2 points, measured in units such as miles, meters, or kilometers, the extent, scope, or range between two things, such as distance or emotional distance.
Examples:
Driving distance. Social distance. The marathon runner covered a long distance in a short amount of time.
Locate.
To specify or determine the exact position of someone or something.
Examples:
Locate a missing pet. Locate a tumor. The robot can accurately locate construction material.
Pivotal.
Relating to or acting as a pivot or central point, crucial or essential to the success or outcome of something.
Examples:
Pivotal moment. Pivotal role. The CEO's decision was pivotal in the success of the company's expansion plans.
Migrate.
To move from one country or region to another and settle there. To move from one place to another periodically or seasonally.
Examples:
Migrate across borders. Migrate a service. Many Germans migrated to South America in the mid-19th century.
Determinant.
A factor, circumstance, or condition that contributes to the shaping, influencing, or determining of a particular outcome or result.
Examples:
Environmental determinant. A determinant of crop yields. One determinant of success is having a positive attitude and a strong work ethic.
Geography.
A field of science devoted to the study of the lands, features, inhabitants, and phenomena of the earth.
Examples:
Geography class. Economic geography. She did well on her geography exam.
Analyze.
To think about in depth and evaluate to discover essential features or meaning.
Examples:
Analyze a chemical compound. Analyze your real motives. The teacher attempted to analyze the root cause of our mistake.
Industrial.
Of or relating to or resulting from industry.
Examples:
Beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Industrial alcohol. Industrial design has become more focused on human nature aspect than ever before.
Revolution.
A large-scale attempt to overthrow the government of a country, often using violence or war.
Examples:
Beginning of the Industrial Revolution. A political revolution. The revolution by the citizen resulted in a redistribution of wealth.
Complicated.
Involving a lot of different things or parts in a way that is difficult to understand or analyze.
Examples:
A complicated process. Become increasingly complicated. He did complicated pen and ink drawings in just a few days.
Affordable.
Not expensive and able to pay.
Examples:
Affordable housing. Affordable solution. The automaker has been providing affordable car financing options since last year.
Flee.
To leave by running away, especially out of fear or danger.
Examples:
Flee their homes. Flee abroad. It is a basic instinct to flee from a dangerous situation.
Statistics.
The discipline that concerns the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data.
Examples:
Statistics for cancer. Official statistics. The statistics demonstrate that poverty and unemployment are genuine problems.
Extent.
The point or degree or area to which something extends.
Examples:
Certain extent. The extent of the damage. I was amazed at the extent of her generosity.
Genetic.
Of or relating to genes, equals parts of the DNA in cells, or the science of genes.
Examples:
Have genetic testing. A genetic disorder. Understanding protein folding is a vital step in deciphering the genetic code.
Variation.
The act or state of changing, a difference or change in the way something is done, made, or said.
Examples:
Variation of temperature. Gene variation. There is a lot of variation in the colors of flowers in the garden.
Span.
The entire length of something, such as time or space from beginning to end, the amount of space that something covers.
Examples:
The span of a bird's wings. The average lifespan. He slightly modified the span of training because it was just before a match.
Correlation.
A statistical relationship between two variables in which one variable is affected by the other. A reciprocal relation between two or more facts, numbers, etc.
Examples:
Ecological correlation. Correlation coefficient. There is a strong correlation between education level and income.
Longevity.
The property of being long-lived, great duration of service.
Examples:
Longevity crisis. Longevity genes. He is proud of the longevity of the business.
Twin.
Either of two children born at the same time from the same mother.
Examples:
A twin lens camera. A twin room. Its twin brothers are difficult to tell apart except for their parents.
Estimate.
To guess or calculate the cost, the size, value, etc. of something.
Examples:
Estimate of fair value. Estimate this chicken to weigh 3 pounds. We estimated the season's total trade deficit at $50 billion.
Quarter.
One of 4 equal parts, a fourth part or portion.
Examples:
A quarter mile. End of the first quarter. The unemployment rate in the first quarter was 2.3 percentage points higher than in the previous.
Correlate.
To have a connection or relationship in which one thing affects or depends on another.
Examples:
correlate closely with the quality. Correlate to the size. We may frequently correlate age with the frequency of disease.
Environment:
the natural world such as air, water, and land in which humans, animals, and plants live.
Examples:
environment affairs. Chaotic environment. Every human is responsible for taking care of the Earth's environment.
Opportune:
suitable or happening at a time that is suitable or convenient for a particular purpose.
Examples:
opportune occasion. An opportune remark. The phone rang at the most opportune time.
Cousin:
the child of your aunt or uncle.
Examples:
cross-cousin marriage. Cousin's family. I used to play with my younger male cousins when I was a little girl.
Robust:
sturdy and healthy in form, constitution, or construction, strong enough to withstand or overcome intellectual challenges or adversity.
Examples:
robust growth. A robust appetite. The experiment yielded robust results that support his theory.
Tease:
to make fun of someone or make jokes about them, either in a playful way or to upset them. To separate the fibers of something. To ruffle a person's or animal's hair by combing.
Examples:
tease the children. Tease wool. This ad is intended to tease a competing product.
Contribution:
the act of giving something, especially money, to a particular cause or organization. A voluntary gift as of money or service or ideas made to some worthwhile cause.
Examples:
make a positive contribution. Contribution to society. His contribution to the charity was a generous donation of money.
Conduct:
to organize and carry out a particular activity.
Examples:
conduct a background check. Conduct research. Police will conduct random breath testing for drunk driving.
Genetics:
the branch of biology that studies genes, genetic variation, and heredity in organisms.
Examples:
the science of genetics. Genetics discrimination. He is a specialist in the genetics of aging.
Amazing:
extremely surprising, especially in a way that you like or admire.
Examples:
amazing advances. The most amazing feeling. The golfer recorded an amazing distance.
Forensic:
Relating to the use of scientific methods and techniques to investigate and solve crimes or legal disputes, pertaining to or involved in legal or criminal proceedings, using scientific evidence to support a claim or argument in a court of law or other formal settings.
Examples:
Find forensic evidence. Forensic team. Forensic scientists analyzed the DNA evidence to solve the crime.
Exceed.
To surpass or go beyond a limit, expectation, or requirement, to be better or greater than anticipated or desired.
Examples:
Exceed sales targets. Exceed the speed limit. The athlete's performance exceeded all expectations, breaking a world record.
Beacon.
A light or other visible object serving as a signal, guide, or warning.
Examples:
An aerial beacon. Beacon of hope. The lighthouse served as a beacon to guide ships safely into port.
Illuminate.
To light something or to make something lighter or brighter, to make something free from confusion or ambiguity.
Examples:
Illuminate a dark hall. Illuminate my understanding. That biologist illuminated the mechanism of heredity.
Origin.
The first existence or beginning of something.
Examples:
Origin of all humankind. A manuscript of uncertain origin. There are various hypotheses concerning the origin of life.
Triangle.
A three-sided polygon with three angles, something that has three sides or parts.
Examples:
Triangle shape. Love triangle. The Pythagorean theorem is used to calculate the length of the sides of a right triangle.
Satellite.
An electronic device that is sent up into space and moves around the Earth or another planet, used for gathering information or communicating by radio, television, etc.
Examples:
A GPS satellite. A meteorological satellite. Launching an artificial satellite contributed to the technological development of our country.
Prime.
Main or most important, basic.
Examples:
Prime number. Deputy Prime Minister. After a thorough investigation, she's been named as the prime suspect.
Technique.
A particular way or art of doing something that needs skill.
Examples:
A technique in martial arts. The technique applied to construction. Jockey's superior technique brought him victory.
Capture.
To catch a person or an animal and confine them in an area which they cannot escape.
Examples:
Capture a glimpse. Capture customers' hearts. I was able to capture the moment on film.
Criminal.
A person who has committed a crime.
Examples:
Wanted criminal. Criminal investigation. The police are searching for the criminal who stole the jewels.
Database.
A large amount of data stored in a computer system in such a way that it can be searched and updated easily.
Examples:
Database administrator. Employee database. Each country's officials can access the central database.
Consult.
To seek or get advice or information from a person, book, or other source having special knowledge on a particular subject.
Examples:
Regularly consult with a doctor. Consult my wallet. Always consult a lawyer before launching a business.
Submit.
To give or offer a document, proposal, etc. to a decision maker for examination or consideration.
Examples:
Agree to submit the bill. Submit an application. Please submit the assignment to me.
Branch.
A division of a tree or woody shrub that grows out from the trunk or a main stem, a division of some larger or more complex organization.
Examples:
Branch office. A branch pipe. The branch of the tree had fallen and blocked the road.
Obtain.
To get something, especially by making a great effort.
Examples:
Obtain a license. Obtain a bid. Where can I obtain the application form?
Arrest.
To take into custody.
Examples:
Arrest the thief. Arrest the progress. A police officer has the authority to arrest a criminal.
Enforcement.
The act of ensuring that rules, regulations, or laws are obeyed or implemented. The act of applying force or pressure to compel compliance with rules or laws.
Examples:
Enforcement action. Enforcement officer. The enforcement of the new traffic laws led to a decrease in accidents.
Self-serving.
Concerned primarily with one's interests and needs rather than those of others, motivated by a desire for personal gain or advantage.
Examples:
Self-serving attitude. Self-serving bias. The politicians' self-serving actions were met with criticism from the public.